Alright, what is up guys? How's it going? My name is Ty. I know the channel name says PVT Shiznit, but I made this when I was like 13. So, today we're going to be discussing the events that took place in Boruto, The Next Generation's Episode 1. And all I gotta say is, wow, that was not what I was expecting. We start out the episode reenacting the scenes from the manga, which involved Kawaki and Boruto standing atop of a destroyed Konoha. So, going to that, I figured we were going to go back and go through the events of the manga, which was a rehash of Boruto the movie. But instead, today we actually got some new content. We got to see more of Boruto's. I want to call it a Byakugan. I want to call it a Tensegan at the same time, but in the end, we don't know. I want to get more into this right now, but I plan on making a separate video discussing Boruto Uzumaki and his lineage to both the Uzumaki family and the Hyuga clan, and then discuss more into what his eye could mean in a future video rather than bog it down in this one. So rather than getting into that, we're going to go ahead and start on the events that took place in this first episode of the series. We start out before the time that Boruto became a genin. Actually, the series starts when the day before Boruto is supposed to enter the Ninja Academy. So it starts out with him hanging out with Shikadai, who already seems like is going to be one of the main characters, which I quite like. Shikadai has many of the traits that Shikamaru had, while also being a much more likable and seemingly more enthusiastic and more into doing things character. You know, Shikamaru was very interesting, but although the not caring attitude was very likable at times, sometimes he could get on your nerves. And I think Shikadai is a lot like Shikamaru in a lot of ways, but also has, you know, bits of Tamari in him. I apologize, as he has more motivations than his father. And we're already seeing a huge friendship develop between the two, as it is mentioned by Shikadai that Boruto's mother, Hinata, relies on Shikadai to keep Boruto in place, and that she trusts Shikadai. So hopefully we're going to see more of Shikadai and Boruto together. Maybe they get on missions together, we don't know. We obviously know that Boruto's team is Mitsuki and Sarada. However, I still hope to see more of Shikadai in the future, as his character seems very interesting to me. And now, as we continue on into the episode, we find out that Boruto meets a boy or girl, I'm not quite sure. I wasn't quite paying attention to the gender, and in anime that's a very gray area, as Haku showed us all in the original Naruto. He met a boy or girl named Dinkai, I can't quite remember the name. It's been about 8 hours since I watched it. Don't remember if there was an N in it. But, this boy seems to be very shy and timid. When Boruto first meets him, he's being beaten up by a bunch of local kids who don't appear to be ninja. Boruto uses shadow clones, beats up the kids, gives the kid back his wallet, and they become friends. And Boruto tells this kid that he should not he should not obey everything his father says, that he needs to live a life of his own, which is a character development we see often in Boruto. Boruto is always trying to one-up or go against his father's will. He sees his father as someone who is not always there for him. He sees his father as an authority figure that he should not follow. So he always goes against his father's will, and he's trying to tell Dinkai that it's okay sometimes to go against your father's will. It's okay to be your own person. You don't have to follow everything your father says. Now, Boruto takes it to a whole other extreme by never listening to what his father says, but, you know, if Dinkai can do this in a lesser degree, it could work out good for him. So, Dinkai, fast forward a little bit, is talking to his father, and after this conversation, a shadow-like sword similar to something that Orochimaru would use attacks Dinkai and seems to take hold of him. And following some events, he later finds those kids that were beating him up and attempts to kill them by crashing two trains into each other. And Boruto would later show up, you know, do some hero antics and stop him, and eventually Dinkai seemingly this snake seems to go away or dissipate as he talks to Boruto more, as he doesn't feel as he suddenly doesn't feel the urge to kill these children. Now, I'm not sure where to go with this Dinkai character because obviously it's going to be a main character to some sort because when in the first episode of a show where you introduce someone who has something like this happen to them, although granted it is a shonen anime and side characters often get thrown aside, I highly doubt that Dinkai will be thrown to the side, as that Shadow Snake manifesting himself into Dinkai is something very interesting to keep a track of. And I'm wondering if possibly Dinkai could be Kawaki. Now, we don't know who Kawaki is, or if Kawaki was originally from Konoha, but it would be not out of this world for Dinkai to eventually become this persona known as Kawaki. See, we don't know. It's not out of this world for someone to just start going by a different name. Maybe something terrible happens to Dinkai. Maybe this Shadow Snake takes over Dinkai to a degree and turns him into what we know now as Kawaki. And obviously Kawaki is a rogue ninja, and maybe Boruto eventually gangs up with Kawaki, becomes a rogue ninja, but then eventually, as shown in the beginning of the show, they have differing ideals. He destroys Konoha, and Boruto has to fight him. Now, I don't want to get too much into this, as I want to go into individual videos for each character. As we start to learn more about them, I'm going to start out with a Boruto video first because we know the most about him. Possibly a Sarada video because we have a lot about her from Gaiden, and maybe a future Mitsuki video as well. I don't want to get too much into Dinkai at the moment because we truly don't know much about him. He was not in the manga to my knowledge, so we really don't know much about him. He's a completely new character to my knowledge. Granted, I didn't read the manga all the way through because, from what I heard, it was just rehashing of the movie, and, I work, I don't have time to read shit I've already watched, so without further ado, I'm going to end the video off here. Leave your opinions down in the comments section below. If you'd like to discuss the Byakugan and Tenseigan, go ahead and leave a comment about it. I'll discuss it with you in the comments, and I'll maybe take some of these opinions into consideration when I do my Boruto character analysis video in the future. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to stay around for more. Without further ado, thank you.